Which sign?
All right, I've just hit live.
Which sign are you talking about, my friend?
You normally put the banner on. Pips like a pro. Oh, that's
at
it.
The end. Oh dear.
Oh mate, we are professionals.
We actually tried. We actually tried.
Hey Holly.
Kent, the first one in the house.
Well done, Holly. First one in.
You always wonder at the beginning, is anyone going to show up this week? It's like, you know, when you're like 13 and it's your birthday party. We've got two. Joanna, good morning. How you doing? So I'd love to say that I've been at work all week putting together this tree, but it's just not the truth. Unbelievable.
Before you start talking, mate, this is the time for listening to the music and feeling it. How's everybody doing? We need to have lots of comments this week. Frosty, it's not about festivities, my friend.
It's a fair point.
As long as you're making money, life is good.
That's so spoken like a typical Grinch. I'm going to call you the Grinch for the rest of the show.
But
okay, let's get cracking. We got enough people in.
Yeah. Well, you've only got 15 seconds left, man. Let's listen to the music a bit.
Okay. I'm in charge of the music this week, can you tell?
One of the shows, mate, we need to do this music and start throwing £50 notes everywhere.
I mean, that's one way. That is one way of doing it, mate.
That's it. Beautiful, beautiful. Hello, everybody. What's going on?
So, this week, Pips Like a Pro was meant to be coming to you from the beach. I was sat at the beach literally 7.5 minutes ago, right, Andy?
You were.
And what started happening?
Well, basically, you tell us what started happening.
Somebody made it rain, but
you started panicking. That's something I definitely saw you do.
Somebody made it rain, and not with £50 notes. So I'm sat at the beach thinking, do you know what? I rang home this week. I spoke to my sister, and she's like, bloody hell, do you know what, Gav? It's the coldest December that she's known for ages. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna go to the beach this week. I'm gonna go to the beach and bring a little bit of the Aussie warmness on the Gold Coast and send it all back to you guys. I'm sat at the beach, all prepared, and then it just starts pouring down with rain. So literally I've had to peg it, and I'm now sat in a reception. So this isn't my tree, and this is a different window, even though all the windows look the same. So I don't know what's going to happen by the time I'm in a reception. By the time the reception opens, I might get kicked out. There might be a whole load of noise. Who knows what's going to happen? So we'll be in the moment.
Make the show a bit more exciting, mate.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of panic. I'll admit it.
You can bring some Aussies into the picture if you want, mate. Let them join the show.
Some Mozzies.
Not Mozzies, Aussies, but we can go with Mozzies. I have no idea what Mozzies are.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to feel actually about coming on live, but who knows? Hopefully they just don't kick me out, so we'll see. But yeah, so that was the plan, guys, to bring you to bring you live Pips Like a Pro from the beach this week. And c'est la vie, that didn't happen. Just like when we plan for our trades and they go against us. What do? You just got to roll with the times, right?
That's it, mate. It's about how you react, and you did belt it quite fast, to be fair. I said that you're going to make it back on time.
Definitely wasn't the weather forecast this week, because it's just the start of our summer. If you've never been to Australia, it's kind of inverted. So it's the start of our summer now. And it says like most days, like you'll due a little bit of rain, because we need the rain now. Otherwise we get like a bit of a drought. And it's been saying it all week, and then it's been beautiful sunshine. I was like, screw it. I'll just go to the beach. It'll be fine. And then obviously not. Anyway, on a brighter note, you've had a haircut, haven't you, mate?
I have, mate. And do you know what? Talking of weather, I was like, I always like to look at the forecast. I don't know if you can see. That's the London weather. Basically, from today, it's all rain.
Forecast, go to the beach,
Friday rain, Saturday rain, Sunday rain, Monday rain. And you can get see in trading, we've got patterns. This is the pattern, mate. This is very predictable. It's just rain.
Why don't you go to the beach as well then? We'll both sit in the rain.
Might as well, mate. Might as well.
I would have stayed there, but my laptop was getting soaked, so it was not a good look for my laptop.
Yeah, definitely. You and me both, Lauren. A bit of sun would be great.
Exactly that.
I think we all need a holiday.
Exactly that. So, what have you been up to this week, mate? How's everything going?
Well, as you know, I've been busy, and I am recording. I'm recording a new course, which is going to help a lot of people, especially those that are not sure if trading is the right thing for them. So I've been taking my time, and I'm a perfectionist with this stuff, and I want to make sure that I give value to people and to show them really how to start trading with the right mindset, to treat it like a business. And, like even today, I was looking at our, some people post in our group, and it's obvious to me, like, some people are posting things like, I saw today, asking for signals, and I can kind of see when people are in a completely different space to where they need to be. So I've been really, really focused on bringing something that's going to help people. So that's been my core focus for the last 2 weeks. So I've been trading, but not as active as I would normally. So I've been doing a little bit, taking a few trades here and there just to get my return for the month, but not completely on it, let's say. How about you?
Mate, the week has just flown by. I've been balls deep in trading charts and just trying to, because obviously I realize now how much of a beginner that I was. Alvaro Oda, FX Traders Club on tour. That's what we need to do. FX Traders Club on tour. So I saw this comment earlier. Sometimes, guys, it's really hard to keep a track on the comments, but this was funny. Sunday, Monday, rainy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, rainy days. Happy Days tune. That was a cool TV show. Do you remember that show?
Of course, mate. That tells our age, mate. But yeah.
Who was the lead character?
The Fonz.
Yeah, okay, I believe you. Well, mate, that was Happy Days was a good show, but it wasn't top 5 in my childhood. Top 5 TV shows was got to be. It was good, and the theme tune was kind of what made it. But A-Team for me all day long, mate. What about you?
Which one?
A-Team.
Oh, the A-Team, of course. The A-Team, yeah, same here as a kid. When you watch it now, I don't know if you've ever watched it. It seems so great and realistic at the time. But if you rewatch it now, it's like, seriously, they'd go into like a room with nothing, and they'd come out with like.
No, they get locked up in a room with nothing, hands and feet tied up, and it's like, who's that great escape artist? The famous one. What's his name? I was going to say Picasso, but it's not Picasso. What was his name?
I know what you mean.
Who's the great escape artist? Like the famous one that you would lock him up, like
I
you would
forgot the name,
literally
but I know who you're talking about.
his fingers, his hands, his mouth, his legs, his ankles, his toes. You'd put him in like 50 foot of water and then he'd come out like 2 seconds later. Who is it? It's not David Blaine. It's like the modern, it's the original David Blaine. What's his name?
Houdini. There he is.
Yeah. Thank you,
Well,
Mick. Andy, I'm not letting you take credit for that. Afi
No,
as well,
I didn't. I said Nick straight away, mate. Even though
so
he
we've
read
got
my
some
mind.
other. Okay.
But
Frosty, you're showing
good shout on Only Fours, Knight Rider. These are probably the ones like my top five.
Frosty's showing his age now, mate. He's showing his age.
Yes.
Knight Rider was cool, but again, you think of it, you think that car's amazing, and then you see it, and it's just like, how did we believe that car was so great? Or unless anybody still thinks that they would drive that car today with the light and the voice.
What are we talking about? Which one?
Knight Rider.
Oh, Knight Rider, yeah.
No, it was okay. It was top 10. It was top 10. Only Fools and Horses. I saw that. I'm sure I saw that.
I think you're more of a Baywatch man.
Who?
I think you really like the plot in Baywatch. It's my feeling.
Mate, if you can't keep up with the plot, then you've lost the plot in Baywatch. Literally, the Hoff comes out in his budgie smugglers. He comes out in his budgie smugglers, looks around, saves someone, and then they pan to all the cute, hot women. What's not to love?
It's very true.
Our Saturday night, my Saturday night as a kid was we would have food. My mum would cook food, and we'd sit with my dad and my sister. Baywatch would come on. We'd watch Baywatch, and then we'd watch. What is this catchphrase from? Awooga. Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Guys, please tell me that I'm not a diehard fan. Who remembers this? Awooga. Just me. Gav watch. Almost.
Anybody know what Gavin's talking about?
Yeah, see, Nicholas is there.
Nick seems to know a lot, it seems.
I keep trying to click on. Nicholas was the first one in. Gladiators. Do you remember that show?
Gladiators?
Yeah.
Yeah. On TV. Yeah.
So what was the catchphrase from the show?
Oh, God knows.
Awooga.
Was it really?
John Fashion, you used to go, awooga. It was brilliant. That was a brilliant show. Not many people love it. Okay, fair enough.
Favorite cartoon?
Oh, Flintstones, I think.
But back in the day, Flintstones.
Back in the long day, or He-Man. What about He-Man? That was pretty good. I can't think of cartoons. Mate, my cartoon game is very weak.
Thundercats?
Yeah. Not bad. It was all right. Monkey Magic.
Gotta say though,
what's that?
Oh, come on. Seriously? Are we really getting this?
Huh? Seriously, what?
Well, I'm not going to post it. I'm not going to give the...
have we got some spammers in the group?
Yeah, we have.
I was wondering when that was going to come. Hey, I tell you what, wacky... This is a classic.
I'm sorry, but that user has been blocked immediately.
Oh, okay. You're on user alert today. That's good. This is a great shout. Don't know who this is from because you're not logged in on the StreamYard link. Wacky Races. Do you remember that one, Andy?
Wacky Races, I do remember actually. Yeah.
Great. That was a great shout. Great shout. Also, Pink Panther.
Yeah, Pink Panther. My daughter likes Pink Panther, funnily enough.
Wait. We're going to have to get you on the show to corroborate this story. My landlady was Siren from Gladiators. Now, if it was Jet, then I'd be all over that. You don't remember the show, you don't remember the slogan, but when I say Jet, Andy's head goes. Who's Siren? Which one's Siren? Don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember Siren, but I'm sure she was awesome and she'd probably still kick my ass. So please apologize if Siren sat there with you, Connor. Great shout, mate. Great shout. This one, we're gonna stop there with it. The classic.
Yeah, mate. Ever since that day, mate, I've been eating a lot of spinach, I've got to say.
See, it didn't work for me. It did not work for me. Apparently, Jet's lost her jet fuel. She's not looking so great these days, apparently.
Oh, who said that?
Frosty. Apparently,
how does he know that? Is he checking her out still?
Well, I mean, it would be worth a Google, I'm sure. But if you were getting hit in the face every week with a pugil stick, mate, I'm sure you'd look a bit ropey after a couple of years, right? Those guys went through some pain. I just remember the last bit, and they had to, all the thing that they'd done, and then they had to get up that travelator at the end. And you think someone's going to win, and then they fall at the travelator, and it's like, my gosh, that's insane. That's insane. Well, so look, guys, it's less than, is it less than? Or it's 2 weeks till Christmas?
Yeah.
2 weeks till Christmas. So we thought,
it really doesn't feel like it, to be honest.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, what really feels like it this time around this year, 2020 and all that jazz. We should get some I Survived 2020 t-shirts. That would be quite cool. Although I said I wouldn't do physical products again. So scratch that idea.
Or we can get I Thrived in 2020. That's a bit more positive.
There you go. Fair play. Thriving's coming in 2021, my friend. Thriving is coming. If we've done the work, then we'll smash 2021 in literal ways. But as it's so close to Christmas, what we wanted to do was just talk, because this is really the first time I can remember trying to trade and get myself just to learn as much as I can over the Christmas break. So can you give us some tips of like the professional world, maybe the hedge fund world? How does it work over Christmas?
To be quite honest with you, like in the hedge fund world, you'd work it until sort of Christmas Eve, and then you'd take it off until the second week of January. So most traders will have a break. This year's a little bit of a weird one, but I would still imagine it's going to be the same. On a personal level, and what I'd recommend people do, I would use the period now to really, really plan your 2021 and start with a bang. Like start with some big goals and a real action plan of how you're going to achieve it. Like, I don't know what the statistic is, mate, but not many people stick to their goals. Something like, most people set New Year's resolutions, right? I don't really believe in that stuff, like setting New Year's resolutions, like just do it when you need to do it. But for those that do set New Year's resolutions, by the end of January, most people have broken it. So what I recommend and what I do is to set goals that feel a bit uncomfortable and hard to reach, but that you are committed and fully committed to achieve. Really, that's the best use of your time. So up until the sort of, if you are trading, up until the 23rd, 24th of December, I'll be trading. I'll be trying to maximize what I can. I've got a lot of presents to pay for. But beyond that point, I will use that time to really, really, I may look at charts, but mostly it's going to be planning how to level up next year, how to go beyond what I've done this year, and actually, a step by step of what I'm going to give up, what I'm going to personally do, because to get better, to get more, to get to a high level, something has to change, right, from the previous year. So I don't know, have you thought about that for yourself for next year?
Honestly, about giving something up.
Well, I learned this from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and when sometimes people say, I want to achieve something, right? I want this, or I want X amount of money, or I want this, or whatever it is, and but there's always a price that you have to pay.
Yeah.
And when you say there's always a price, people think, oh, it's money. No, not necessarily money, but there's a price in who you need to be, right? And I can give you some examples, but it would be good to hear what other people have got. What are their goals for 2021? And and I guess then it's kind of reverse engineering it and saying, well, if that's my goal, how am I going to do that? What do I need to give up? What do I need to be different as? I know there's some real hard nuts in here. Sab, who wakes up at 2 a.m, and there's people like that, and I've seen people like Sab who are inspiring others to say, wow, I wish I could be that disciplined. But again, that comes down to your drive and what you want to achieve, because sometimes you don't necessarily have to wake up at ridiculous o'clock, but there may be some sacrifice that you need to make to achieve that goal. And I'd be very open to sharing mine.
Yeah, please do. That it's the myth, the man, the legend. We want to know what you do to get where you've got to. So I guess so let's break it down this way. When you were back in our steps, when you were just figuring this out and putting things together, what was the big example of that? Like, what was something that you actually did? Can you remember? And then we'll take it step by step. So we'll go through the stages depending on where people are.
I think I've mentioned this from one of the first shows when I first started out, where I'd work, really long hours. At that time, I was at JP Morgan, and I would kind of get up at 6, leave my house at 7, be in the office by 8, and then I'd leave the office at 8, be home by 9. And within that time period, obviously that's all of your time. And then I'd come home, have a little bite to eat, and then I'd normally spend about 3 hours on my charts and then go to sleep. And I probably did that for 2-3 years consistently. Now, it didn't feel like work to me. To be quite honest, I didn't really have anything else going on at the time of my life. But it was I was just completely dedicated to that. And, I didn't, at the time, I didn't think of it as like sacrificing anything. But thinking about it, there were times where I was asked to go out and I'd still make sure that my work was done before I did anything else. So I guess you could call that a sacrifice. But it really allowed me to build a foundation in trading. So, but I think it's like, even now, I think I always think about it in those terms. Like, if I want to go to another level of where I am, what am I willing to do for that? What do I need to change about me? What can I improve about me to be maybe more productive? It's not always getting up earlier. It's maybe using your time a bit more wisely. And I've already adapted that this year. I think I already told you I spend less time on screens now, but I can pull in generally the same or more money for way less time. So
can you expand on that, mate? Because it amazes me, like, when I first heard you say about that, like how you're able to do that. And I still speak to people that think they have to do, like, I guess people don't believe that less is more in trading, but obviously as you get to those levels, there's so many areas in which that's appropriate. Can you just talk about why did you transition over to that, and how did that work? I guess that might be an interesting side note to go on, because I know when I speak to people, they're like, really? Wow. And that's one of the big things. Like, for you, I know everybody would love to be able to spend less time in front of the charts and make more money, right? Everybody would just love that inverse ratio.
Yeah, I think there's some crazy noise going on there, mate.
And so it begins. 24 minutes into the show, I did warn you guys.
You did.
That's Houdini. Houdini's trying to get out of the swimming pool. He's drowning.
Yeah. No, do you know what? I think it's I think your actions come from your goals and your mission and what your because there's stages of life where you change, right? So there's things that you're doing now that weren't so important to you back then. So like in my hedge fund days, for example, there's only one focus for me. It was never about giving. I'm being honest. It was not about giving.
Yeah.
It was fully about taking what I could. That was my focus. It was about basically, well, giving in terms of like the company was making money from me, but it wasn't, my motivation wasn't for that. It wasn't to make the company money. My motivation was to make as much money as I could to better the lives of my family, essentially. And so that was my core focus. It was all about just trading the markets and putting all the hours that I could to find as many opportunities as I could and looking at as many currencies as I could. Now, once you kind of get, once you're okay financially, you get comfortable, you can do more. And so now I have, as you know, like I want to help as many people as I can to be successful at this, in whatever capacity they want to go down. So it's just making sure that I help as many people as I can to get to the level that they want to get to, not the level that I want them to get to, but where they want to get to. So whether that's a little bit of extra income, whether it's full-time trader, whatever it looks like for them. So because I have that goal, Gavin, my brain says, how can I do it? How can I basically get more from what I do? And then I figure it out. So I just say, well, that's what I need to do. And as you know, like the way I work, if I set a goal and I'm really clear about why I want that goal, why I've got that target, I just think, well, that's what's got to happen. And now I'll just figure out how it's going to happen. And then I just get creative and I think, okay, well, how about, and then I just start to think of things like sometimes I sleep on them. So I'll go with a problem and I'll think, well, how can I solve this problem? And then I'll wake up in the morning and I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. That's what I need to do. So sometimes it's as simple as like looking at less, but it's also just like working out ways. So recently, like this is only the last 12 months I've been doing this. And imagine I've done this for 17 years. And as you know, like recently I've cut my targets. So like my targets are much shorter. I've changed the way I do my risk management. So I risk a little bit more, but I manage it much more effectively by being planned. Like I showed you how I basically stay on top of things without watching my screen, using the alerts. So I've kind of, you know, I figure things out when I force myself to, and I've got enough reason to do it, because otherwise, like I won't have enough time to give what I need to give. But trading is important, so I must carry on trading, and obviously that's my living. So that's kind of like how I get to solutions, and then the solution is the solution. But most people can come up with a solution if they're forced to. It's just that you never really force yourself. Most people don't force themselves to come up with something. Like, you know, I'm sure you've heard this before, where they say, you know, where maybe people procrastinate. I mean, I don't know what people do. They procrastinate. They, you know, they don't follow through with what they say they're going to do, or they break their rules. But if it was a life or death situation, if I said to somebody, listen, if you don't do this for the next 12 months consistently, something, I don't know, something very important to them that's bad is going to happen. Like they're going to lose a family member or something drastic like that.
It's a bit dark for a Christmas show, mate.
It is a little bit dark for a Christmas show. It is. But I believe that if people think of it in those terms and they almost force themselves to do that, it can change their lives. Like I really believe that, but you've got to find something inside you to put that on you because you know it's not the truth. But you have to make it your truth.
So what would be, I'm not going to ask you which family member it would be, but what would be your kind of like top 3 things that people can implement as a goal for next year, couple of weeks time to start with? What would be like 2 or 3 top things that you would say pay attention to that can make the real difference for anyone that's watching and hoping to improve their trading?
Goals, you mean, or things that they may need to change about themselves?
Let's go with goals first.
I mean, goals are personal, but they can be the one thing with a goal. It has to be specific. If you're gonna measure yourself against that goal, it has to be specific. So, I would actually start with focusing on process and then goal. So, for example, really simple. What if you agreed to say that every day in January, I'll give you a specific one. You have to be on your screens at 5 a.m. until 6 a.m. without fail every single day of January. And you'll be analyzing your charts and finding your setups and placing your orders. Now, that's 1 month, for example, but it takes roughly 21 days, right? Sab will tell us 21 days to change a habit. So if you just set mini goals like that, you'll get used to it and it won't seem so daunting. Whereas if I said to you, okay, well, every day between 5 and 6 for the next year without fail, you need to be on your desk and analyzing. You're setting yourself up for failure, and nobody wants to fail. And as soon as you fail, you give up. So set something first, a milestone. That's the way you want to look at it. Set a milestone rather than setting a year goal right now. You can still set these kind of ambitious end of year goals, but within all of those goals, you have to set some milestones and say, right, okay, that's one goal. What about what else contributes to high performance? Exercise. So what if you set your goal that in the next month, you're going to go to the gym, or you're going to go for a run, or you're going to do some sort of form of exercise for 4 hours a week without fail for the next 4 weeks of January. So again, that's specific and measurable. Now, what has that got to do with trading results? Everything. Because one, if you achieve it, firstly, the mental benefits of you being more focused are going to be obvious. The second thing is that you have kept to your word, and and your brain learns that when you say something, it's happening. And that's really important, because what's the most common mistake people make in trading? They take a trade, they say, right, I'm going to stick to my plan. And what happens? The market does some craziness and they break their rules immediately. They close the trade. And then they kid themselves and they say, oh, hold on a minute, I made money. You didn't. You just broke your rules. So, and in the long run, that's going to cost you big. So for me, it's about setting things that you can achieve and that are going to train your brain to say, look, I'm doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a Christmas show, man. I'm getting a little bit too deep, maybe.
Well, the people will speak, but I think I can speak on our behalf right now. This is interesting information, and it's just getting towards how we really start to achieve our goals. Because like you said, everybody's individual. Like Kieran said, my goal for 2021 is to become more disciplined and less emotional in the markets. So, is there a couple of tidbits that you've got around that? A little knowledge bomb.
That's fine, but you know what, Kieran? My advice is to be more specific than that, because it's too generic and you can't hold yourself accountable. So you want to think about what discipline means for you. And like, for example, getting ready to trade between 5 and 6 is a discipline. That's a form of discipline. So make it specific, and then you can hold yourself to account. And you can even the best way to really, because you're accountable to yourself, right? Which is great. But you could even post it in the group, your intention for January, for example. What's your intention? And then report to the group like how you've done. Because again, once you tell people what your goal is, you almost feel like you have to go through ahead with it. Or if you don't, at least you know there's people kind of watching out for what you're doing. So you don't have to do that, by the way, but it's, one of the things when I got started in trading, I had, I was working with somebody like a friend, but we kept each other to account. We'd have Skype calls and we'd say, right, this is what we did and this is what we're supposed to do. So I knew if I didn't do my analysis, he would pull me up on it and the other way around. So it was great. And I think like having that accountability is important. So you must make it specific. Otherwise, we just rationalize it. Gavin, one thing I'm disappointed with you with is you're not asking anybody to write any comments anymore.
Am I not?
No. And we need the algorithm. I think you've got too comfortable in your position, my friend.
This is a comfy chair, to be fair. I might come down here again.
Or you're a bit uncomfortable in reception.
It's like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable in the reception, but I've got comfortable in the uncomfortableness. And these chairs are so comfy, like a really nice coffee shop where you've got like really comfy chairs. Like these are just like, I could just chill out and meditate on this chair. Okay, comment squad, algorithm squad. We do need you guys. So yeah, good shout. You could say it as well, Andy. You can give me a little reminder and I'll be like, oh yeah.
That was a reminder, but like a little punch in the stomach reminder.
Yeah. So look, guys, as usual, we do need to boost our rankings. We do need to boost the show. So algorithm squad, we need you. Comment squad. If you're loving the content so far, just type in yes, no, whatever. As long as we just get a contribution from you, as we say most weeks, we this isn't a payment show, but our form of payment that we gladly accept is just a little comment, even just a plonker. That's our favorite word for the comments. Plonker, just whack in plonker and just put it into the algorithm to boost our juice in the Facebook world. So yeah, so can you go back then to specifically, and thank you for people that are posting the comments in. If you've never, how about this? A new resolution for you. If you've never posted in the comment section, even if you're watching the re-record, just post something in the comment section. That could be something that can be a New Year's goal just to contribute to us. We'd really, really appreciate that. And then Facebook gives us some love, which is awesome to help get the show out to more people and these words of wisdom out to more people. So thank you for everyone, particularly Facebook user is probably taken themselves off their name just to say plonker. So we appreciate that greatly. Thank you very much, guys. So going back to actual Christmas and trading around Christmas, what do you notice about like the markets, the lead up to Christmas? Is there anything like any nuggets or knowledge bombs that you've noticed that you can drop in for the show now to say over the next couple of weeks, the markets will do this, or there's certain currency pairs that you've noticed that will do that? Is there anything like that you've noticed?
No, I mean, like traditionally, not so much with currencies, but traditionally, like the stock markets will rally up to Christmas. That's kind of like a known thing. So like you'll always see the FTSE typically rally into Christmas. This year might be different because of what's gone on. So, normally the Christmas rally is people spending money, but this year it's a bit of an unknown. But that's something that's pretty normal. But whether that's going to happen this year, I don't know. But specifically with currencies, I don't really change anything different. I pretty much trade the same way. And up until, like I said, Christmas Eve, you won't see much difference. But as you kind of like go into sort of like the holidays period, the volatility will drop. And that's not to say you can't trade it, you can, but it's not going to be moving much. So you'll be really looking at ranges in general between probably Boxing Day and New Year. Most traders don't trade. Well, that could be different, like I said, because most time now, with Corona going on and people are at home, who knows? It could be different. But so far, I haven't noticed any difference. The markets are still behaving as they would normally seasonally. So, yeah, so watch out. I mean, look, definitely look out for the Christmas rally. It may happen again, but I don't really trade the FTSE. So, and I think the S&P must do the same thing. I know definitely the FTSE 100 typically rallies just before the run up to Christmas.
You've just reminded me on that note, and I know it's another little side note, but it's an interesting one. We were going to talk about when you used to trade that and then you moved over to FX. Do you remember that? As we're talking about it, do you want to just give us a little few minutes before we go into the trade setup of the week? Just finish off that loop about when you used to trade those markets and what made you jump over to FX in the first place.
Yeah, sure. So I started with stocks because that's what I was taught. Didn't know much else at that time, and I tried. When you're exploring in trading, I tried everything. I tried I tried futures. I tried all the commodities, the indices. I was even trading like things like corn, soybeans, wheat, everything. Pretty much, I tried everything. I tried day trading them. I tried swing trading them. And stocks, I spent a couple of years doing it. Now, what I found, let's speak specifically about stocks. What I found was, well, firstly, it was taking an age to find your setups because there's so many stocks. And the second thing is the gap. One of the times I got really badly burnt. There was a massive gap, and it ended up costing me something like 6% on my account when I was only supposed to be losing 1% max. And I was like really, really frustrated because I basically followed all of my rules. I took the setup as it should have been. And then something happened. The stock opened up with a gap down, and I ended up basically losing 6%. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. How am I supposed to manage risk this way? And I just realized there and there that actually there must be a better way. And then that's when I started looking into other things, which obviously eventually I landed on FX, and I haven't looked back. I don't trade anything else. For me, it's the best market to trade. It's liquid. I know I can get in and out whenever I want. And that's the thing as well. The commissions and the spreads on stocks were way higher than what I pay now. It's so cheap to trade FX, like literally nothing compared to other markets. So, and yeah, it just fits so much better. The fact that, what used to be really annoying is like, the market would close. And at the time I thought it was an advantage because I could go home from work and the market would be closed and I could just go through the charts without the price moving. But actually I realized it was a disadvantage because of the gap. So I could analyze the market right now, this sort of time would be the time I'd analyze it, make a decision, and then 8 o'clock in the morning, the market would open somewhere else. And so I would be going to work around that time, literally looking and saying, wow, okay, the market's gapped. So that setup makes no sense anymore. You just don't have that issue with Forex.
Awesome. So we've had a question in from Andrea. Thanks for posting in. I don't think I've seen a message from you before. Thank you very much for that. Do breakout strategies work better during the holidays since institutions are not trading and we potentially have more retail traders in the market? Good question.
That's a very good question, actually. Yeah. I've got to be honest with you. It's not something that I've ever explored. Good shout. But typically, I mean, what I find is typically the markets are quite quiet, so more range bound because there's just not enough traders to move the markets to break out. So you kind of need institutions, in my opinion. You need buying power. So even though there's a lot of fake outs because of institutions, but when there's truly a breakout, you need that buying power. So I haven't really spotted that before. If you like breakouts, if you like those kind of trades, I would consider cryptocurrencies. I know traders that are trading, let's say, retail strategies that do quite well from crypto, trading it. But there's a lot of other disadvantages with cryptos that, without getting into all the details now. But yeah, because that's more of a retail market. So I haven't noticed that, Andrea, to be honest. I think it's generally range bound markets because there's no volatility. There's not enough, buying power in the market.
On that note, you've given me an idea to pimp out the algorithm squad. Guys, if you want to talk more about cryptos next week and what Andy's just touched on, give us a crypto in the comments. If we get enough crypto comments, then we can add in some crypto stuff for next week's show.
If you're interested in it, yeah, I'd be. I know a lot about cryptocurrencies. I know how to trade them. I know
that doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me, my friend. And we should be picking your brain. So if we get enough crypto comments, just whack in crypto. If you want to hear cryptos, then let us know. That will be awesome. And then we can deliver on some of that information. I know for one, if I could, I'd whack in crypto. Can I actually do it? I think I can. How do you even spell it? Crypto. CRYPT.
That's a good point, mate. We're telling other people. I'll even put it in as well.
Oh, it says London Trading Institute. Boom. There we go. It's saying we've lost access to our account now because we've placed a comment. It's like we're trying to toot our own trumpet. No one likes that, do they? So yeah, keep the comments coming in, guys. We've got to get more comments for if you want to hear about cryptos. And I didn't even know that you've got some knowledge bombs to drop. It doesn't surprise me, but that will be amazing, mate, to get some knowledge bombs. So you think the crypto market will be quite volatile over the Christmas break then, hey?
Probably because it's mostly retail, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was volatile. It was last year when I was looking. So I mean, at the moment, there's a lot going on in cryptocurrencies. Like Bitcoin ran up to its all-time high again. It's just failed. It's going to break it at some point. And if there's enough interest, on a serious note, I could analyze a crypto.
Oh, now we're teasing. You're getting good at this, mate. You are getting good at this. So even if you're watching the re-record, if we get 100 crypto comments, then we'll do a crypto setup of the week. How about that? There's a Christmas promise to you. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so look, let's jump into our favorite time. Let's jump into a little bit of this bad boy. Let's go with this one.
Well,
so trade setup of the week, Mr. Andy Demi, the myth, the man, the legend. What pair are you going to focus on this week?
So this week,
Bitcoin and Ethereum.
This week, I'm going to do one that I haven't traded for quite a long time. Katerina will like this because I know she likes this one. The dollar Swiss. So I thought I'd pick a currency that I don't typically trade that often, so that I can look at it with fresh eyes. And I did go through it briefly before we got on. So, and I think we've got a nice idea. Oh, Frosty likes that one as well.
Let's do it then. Let's get into it.
Right, okay, let's do it, guys. So let me do a screen share. 1 second. Okay. So here we are. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, should be able to. Okay. Yeah, there you go, Catherine. So you can critique me now, because I'm gonna do this with quite fresh eyes. So I had a little look. I'm not gonna lie, I did have a go through it because I thought I need to make sure that there is a decent setup, and I believe there is. So, but now I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. We're getting a lot of yeses here. Right. Okay. So here it is. The most important thing here is I need to figure out, you know, what's happening. So this downtrend really doesn't matter to me right now. I'm more interested in the now, which is, you know, what's going on. Well, let's bring him up here. The most important thing right now, this is a monthly chart, is this. Okay, so the market is basically in a range. And so that's where my focus is going to be, is to try and identify where this market is likely to go. So if I just bring in the monthly levels, drag them in. This is quite interesting, because what this is basically showing me is we can go back, you know, all the way back to sort of 2012, 2013. And, you know, we had a nice kind of low point around here. I know we also did spike quite a bit lower back in 2015. But since then, we haven't broken this. So we have to definitely take this into account, that around 88 is a level of support. Okay, so I'm kind of looking at that and thinking, okay, well, at some point the buyers will probably be attracted in. Now, when I look at this is a bit of an interesting one. So when you connect the channel line here, support, so we have like our support point here, 1, and support 2 and 3, and I know we had this big move down. That's kind of like a fake out. But, and then look 4, 5, but then look what's happened here. The market has basically broken it. But sometimes I kind of see this as quite naive to believe that that's going to necessarily be a true breakout. Most likely the market isn't going to break out significantly. Definitely, like, I'll be very, very surprised if we don't at least get a reaction. And my feeling is that it's going to take some effort to break this level. So if you kind of take these away for a second, actually, I don't know, I've kind of seen this quite when you look at it like that, you got, you know, what do you think? You think breakout, right? You think, okay, that's broken, this is going down. But one thing I want you to get is, generally speaking, unless something fundamental changes, you know, economies like to have their currencies within a set range. So to get a breakout, it's a really big deal. So, and it's typically not going to happen easily. So on a weekly chart, I wouldn't get too excited that this is going to break out now and it's definitely going down. It would take a lot for me to kind of go down that road. My immediate thought is, okay, I'm going to see where this is going to stop, and I'm going to be looking to buy this at some point because I think it's going to hold. So with that in mind, that's important, because that then allows me to start exploring with that in my head. And so what I did then is I just simply and I drew it from the bodies, and I also drew it from the wicks, and I found this kind of little zone here, okay, which shows me that there is some support, some hidden support here that could push this market higher. Okay, that's all I found from this, basically. So then I go to the daily chart, and I draw this really, really nice little channel. Now, this is quite an interesting one because you've got your A here, your B there, and then you've got your C, and it's an overextended E. So basically, what this means is the D is due. Okay, it hasn't formed yet officially because we need 2 more candles, but we are due a C. And look, you've got this 1618 there as well. So at some point, it looks to me that you're going to get a D completion there and then a push up. It's just a question of like timing it. So now this is an interesting one though. I do really, really like this zone here a lot. We have a 1618 and we've got basically a 200. When you see 2 confluences like that, this is a very, very important zone. 8750 approximately there, right? I would mark that down. So even if we do kind of push up, we may get 1 more push down. Okay, so but I don't care right now. What I'm looking for is there an opportunity to make money right now? And that's the first goal. Is there an opportunity to make money right now? And then the second goal is there potential an opportunity to make money down here as well? So we're going to try and find where this is going to push up first, and then maybe if it does push down, we'll look again around here. Okay. So let me go to the 4-hour chart, and this is what the 4-hour chart looks like. So I've kind of drawn the channel here, but essentially you can see there, this is the sort of top end of the channel, and this area here is the bottom end of the channel. So again, it's kind of, and it's in the fade zone. So this one has formed the D, and I will go to the hourly chart, and I'm going to show you one more thing in a second. But basically, according to the 4-hour time frame, this is in the buy zone. So anywhere now, all the way down to here. So 8712, 7776. So again, this for me is a really interesting zone because you've got 2 Fibonacci's there. So again, this could be interesting. One thing that I would do is I would put the daily trading range, and if it hits the daily trading range, I would be tempted to buy that tomorrow. Like have a little end of week rally. So think about it like this as well, guys. If you guys have if big traders have positioned themselves short, that's a big drop. They may not want to carry that over the weekend. So if you can kind of get a good price, there's a good chance you'll get that little rally. So that's basically, end of week rally looks interesting to me. And so if I go to the hourly chart, I've also got this. Now, this is really interesting because 8823 is the 1618, which is basically on the hourly time frame, which is indicating the end of the cycle. So if the DTR is there and that market pushes there, I'll buy that tomorrow. I'll buy that towards, and I'll probably close it, but there'll be enough there as long as it happens sort of like with enough time before the end of the close. There'll be enough opportunity there to make some pips. So if we want specifics, guys, I'm going to be looking tomorrow. If the DTR matches that, I'll be looking around 88.23 to 88.17 to buy, and I'm going to be looking just for a short-term rally. Okay. Let me just show you one more thing, actually, that maybe will be quite interesting for people that I identified on TradingView.
Mate, you know, you can just walk away right there. That's your drop mic moment. That was awesome. So just while
Okay.
you're figuring, no, go ahead and do it.
I can drop my water bottle.
I haven't even had a drink. I didn't even get a chance to set up properly at the start of the show. Please finish what you were doing. I was just filling in.
Yeah, no, I'm going to just show them one thing, and then I will wrap up. But just, I mean, this is a long-term thing, but I just wanted to show you something I just went through before. Have a look here. This is a weekly time frame, so this is not like, okay, it's happening right now. But I noticed the stock RSI, like when it reverses, it has a nice divergence and then it goes. So like here, right, price goes down. Look how the market there was diverging, and then it went up, right, and then it went up, and then like there, and then I saw, look here, we had a little push down, and then the market, look, stochastic, and then the market went up. And then here again, this one was quite a big divergence. The price was making lower lows, divergence, and then look there, and look at the moment, we've got divergence. So I think there's going to be a bid coming soon, and it's just a question of maneuvering the lower timeframes to find buying opportunities. That's where I think the value is. And I'll drop my water bottle now. That's finished.
Mate, I'm going to take a sip. I should have taken a sip beforehand, but cheers, by the way. Happy Thursday night, happy Friday morning, wherever you are around the world. I mean, wow. Guys, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel inspired again. Just, you make it look so easy, mate. You make it look so easy, and that's the beauty that we've got access to your mastery in this, mate. That was awesome.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I'll give you a number later, mate.
No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're only human, guys. If you like that analysis, please give us another comment in the algorithm, because the algorithm loves comments, and Andy likes comments, as do I. Look, I mean, that was freaking awesome. The way that you just broken that down is amazing. So thank you very much for taking the time. People are saying they're feeling inspired. That was brilliant. Master craftsman. I wouldn't go that far, but don't want him getting too cocky, do we? But how awesome was that? And you know, just how easily you make it look, and then we all kind of go in front of the charts and go, oh, but he made it look so much easier. And that's the thing.
That's what no social life does for you, mate.
I'm slowly going down that track of literally, this is just eating up all my time, and I love getting lost in the markets, but it's like you say, having a plan. But how awesome was that? And it was just, yeah, wow.
Thank you.
Not very often that I'm speechless, but that's true mastery at its best. And it's looking like we're going to get a little bit of a glimpse into your crypto mastery next week. Think we're on the way to getting enough comments.
Do you know what would be good for next week? If people really take the week to think about a goal that maybe they can just set for January, like not for the year, just for January. Something that they may be struck, and I would choose something that you're uncomfortable with. So don't make it too easy for yourself. So if you're quite good at getting up in the morning, then that's not really a challenge for you. If you're quite good at going to the gym, it's not really a challenge unless you're going to up your game. So it would be great. And then they can bring it next week and we can hold them to account. Who's willing to do that?
That sounds like a great shout.
Let's see who's willing to do it.
Maybe it's not anybody's goal yet to do it, but yeah, guys, if you want to put, I think The moral of this story is to get to where Andy's got. He's had to put himself in uncomfortable situations and get comfortable in the uncomfortable situations, right? See, this is where he's not. This is where he's human, because he just gets lost in things like this. Try and have a normal conversation, and sometimes it does fall on flat ears.
I'm sorry.
With all you brilliant men, there's a little bit of madness to you all, I'm sure. So yeah, and I guess that's the thing. We've got to unlock our inner madness to get to the mastery level of what we're looking to do. So look, guys, that has been Pips Like a Pro, another show in the bag, another mic drop moment. Let's track that professional trade setup and see how we go. So everybody's looking for the bounce on that currency pair. Any last words that you've got for this week, Mr. Demi?
No, I don't think I do. I think I've spoken a lot. But no, seriously, thank you everybody for being here. It's always great to have you here. And you know, looking forward to the next few weeks, and then we can really hit January hard. We've got some great plans, me and Gaven.
We have, and I think that's time. On that note,
it's time, is it?
Hopefully you can hear it. Don't know what's going on with my iPhone these days.
Well,
but hey ho, we are done. Pips Like a Pro. Were you going to say something mastery trader like, or just madman, normal Andy Demi like?
Yeah, just going to talk rubbish, mate.
Guys, we're done. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week. Keep the comments coming in, and keep the comments coming into the group. And this time next week, we'd have been doing some cryptos. Have an awesome one.